everybody, my name is Sherry. Welcome to my stamp studio. Oh my goodness, I've had a marathon filming day. We are going out of town and I attempted to, well, I didn't just attempt, I accomplished getting, how many videos have I done today? After I do this one, I just have to do my VIP video for everybody who purchased in August. That just takes a couple of minutes. So I have enough to finish off this week, all of next week, and start the week that we get home because we're gone for about a week and a half. So I had to get a lot of cards done and I did it. So let's get going on this last one. I have no idea what, I will try to kind of remember the order I filmed them in, but I can't promise anything. So I may show you something in my stack here that you may say, oh, there's not a video for that. If there's not, it will be up by, I think the 16th is when we get home, 16th, 17th, around then, and I have enough to go about to that last day. They will all have emails, so if you're my customer and you're used to getting an email saying, here it is, I will try to get some done before we go, but I've run out of time to do. They won't have blog posts at all. I may do one blog post where I can just add all the cards at the end, and I may stick them on Facebook because I can be on Facebook when I'm not working and not feel like I'm working. So I have one giant favor to ask you while I'm gone, and you see a video post, if you don't mind commenting or sharing it, especially if it's on Facebook, because that way more people will see it, because without me to post it, I'm doing all this work, and sometimes if they don't get traction, then nobody watches them anyway, so it can be depressing. So please help me out. Thanks. So here are a couple of things that I have worked on. Here is the fluffy squirrel. So this one will post if it hasn't. Same with this one. This is the gingerbread. I think it's just called gingerbread. Again, that one will post if it hasn't. Then these are already up, so this is just a Christmas card. And then these others I'm going to show you. Today I'm using Petal arrangements, but it's just a standalone stamp set. It's super cool. But when you have a standalone stamp set, then you need to put things to work with it. Although I've done a lot of mixing and matching. So I am using the branching out dies for the frame shapes. So this card has posted, and so has this one. This was a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago. This is Label Me Grateful, and I'm using the two pieces that are in Cajun here. I used those two. I've already done all the die cutting. And then for the paper, because here's the stamp set, Petal Arrangements, it has Proteas, which are my favorite Australian flower. When we lived there and I could buy them all the time, we always had them in various stages of living, because once they're dry, they just live forever. I have a whole vase in our spare bedroom that's just full of dead ones. They're still pretty and I can't throw them away, and they're gorgeous, and especially when you see them growing, they're just my favorite. So I had to get this stamp set, but I wanted something floral. I didn't want it to look, this is, I think, probably Stampin' Up's Ode to the South Pacific in this catalog, because y'all aren't in autumn. I'm sorry, but you're going into spring, so it's warming up there, I've noticed. So I had to have it. So I picked the Charming Day paper, and part of the reason I picked it is I wanted to mix and match with some stuff that if you're in Card Club, you already have it. So I don't do this often, but I'm going to show all of you Card Club from August. It's past, so you can't get it. In fact, I don't even think there were any spare packets, so I think they're gone. But this one does have a tutorial, so I'm going to use this paper, but we're going to use the other side, and you'll see this is one of my favorite sheets. Although I say that about a lot of the papers in it, they're all my favorites. We're using these sides of the paper, so we just have some stuck on a lot of things. There's another one of the cards that we did in Card Club. But I used the other side. This one you can see is Peacock. It's not one we're using on this card, but it's going to be a little fun fold. But let's take a look at this stamp set. I did not look at what page it's in. So now that the catalog is live, when I first started filming ahead, it was before the catalog was live. And then after I realized I could have shown it, because I think it's in here. I don't think it's an online exclusive, but I could have shown it because it was going to be live by the time the video posted. But oh well. Here it is. So what it does, you'll notice when I use them, because I'm only using the stamps, but they're cut super funky. Like, see how this is cut? Because they puzzle piece back together. So you puzzle piece them back into here. I never use my stickers. And so you have the option to use them individually, like I'm going to on this, or you can see right here, you can puzzle piece them onto a large block, and I will do it when we get home. So watch for that video, and it makes a background stamp. So you can kind of mix and match so that it looks like a background stamp, but there's actually 6 images in it. But see how they have the line? Because they do a square. So it's super cool concept. And red rubber, you know, is going away. So this is one of the last great stamp sets that you can get if you're a fan of the red rubber. And those are really pretty samples. I hadn't looked at them because I hadn't looked at the catalog. Frames that I used, and these are from Branching Out. So they're just graduated. So I did a black one in the largest. So that'll be the back of our card. And then here is the Charming Day. And I did this one twice. So I did it once in this paper and once in white. Move the frames out of the way. And then the smallest frame I did in white. And then here are the 2 ferns from Label Me Grateful. And I'm going to use some words, and they are also from Branching Out. So you do need 12 by 12 cardstock. So my choices were white or black because that's what we have 12 by 12 cardstock in these days. So I went with the black. And then here is this side. Now on my other one, I took a bunch of time and I stamped all the way across this. I'm not going to do it for this one, and then I'll show you what it looks like because you can do it. I'm kind of busy and so I'm not going to. And I don't know that for the amount of time that it took, if it made that big of an impact. So we'll compare them afterwards and we'll see. Maybe I'll be really super sorry I didn't do it. So this is 2.5 by 12, and then this one is 2 by 12. You're just going to layer a piece on here, and this is going to be the base to hold our easel card up. Then you just need to score it, and you can do 4 and 8, or when you're lazy like me and you don't have room on your table, then you just do 4 and flip it and do 4. It's the same difference. So make sure you score. And we'll flip this back around. And this card could be super fancy. Like I said, I've kind of run out of time. And so I don't have a ton of die cuts. I don't have a ton of bling on it. It could stand it. And it could also stand, if I wanted my stamps to show, it would be cool in white ink. But I've used white stamp ink on so many of my projects the last couple of weeks that I decided I put it up because I'm like, you can't use white ink anymore. And then on this card, it's like, oh, white would look really pretty on this. I don't know why I'm on a white ink kick. So you're just going to fold these. And you do have to kind of press hard when you've got the 2 layers. So this is the base of our card. And I folded it opposite, so I can fold it back this way now. And our card will go like this. And then I have a little secret when I do these. If you've seen, you know, my other videos where I make a card similar to this. When you add this back frame, which I'm not stamping on, so I can do it now. You don't want to, if you're going to put this in an envelope, it can't be bigger than an envelope, right? Otherwise, it'll stick out the top. So I always lay my base. Oh, I have dimensional backs everywhere. I lay my base there, and then I can put this at the top, and then make sure. You could also measure, you could get the ruler, you could do it like the real way. This is the cheat way, and it works perfectly well. So now when we close this, it's card size. So now all of our panels we need to stamp on. I meant to get a clean piece of scrap paper. Hold on. And my other one was getting pretty dirty. So, remember what I said about the stamps? I don't know which ones I've used where. About them being cut funky, and there's a urge to fix them, right? Because we don't like to see these jagged edges, especially those of us that have been around so long that we used to have to cut our stamps. Trying to figure out which one of these I used on the front of my card. I think it's that one. It is, because it's the tallest. But if you cut them apart, then you won't be able to puzzle piece them back together to make a background. That was why I kind of wanted to do, that's why I haven't used the stamp set yet, because I wanted to use it that way. And I've run out of time, and I'm like, yeah, just do it this way and then come back and visit it the other way, since it's a new concept. I wanted to kind of play with it first. So this one is going to go here. This is our front panel. And then I pulled these words out of the branching out, which is, if you're in Card Club, it will be the bonus set in October, but you can get it this month if you want. So it says, thinking of you brings joy to my heart. You can put more words on the other panels. Again, for me, it was kind of a time thing. So I have ink everywhere, literally everywhere. And then let's do our purple panel. And I will do this one. I should move them out of the way when I have used them. So that one's going to go there. And then we have our white panel. And this time I'm going to put one on the back. I did it on my other card because, you know, the first time you do it. And then when I was done, I was like, you could have added one there. Probably won't color it. Now I may color it later. So let's put this one here. And then on some of these, you are going to notice that they have that line because it's the edge of the background stamp. So you kind of want to pay attention. I wasn't paying attention because, again, new concept. And I'll show you on the end how one of those is showing on my card. So here's the line. I want that to be off the card. So this one, we're going to kind of do the background thing. When I thought about doing this card, that was what I wanted to do. I was going to do a background line on the panel, and then I realized it's not even big enough to have that. So it seemed kind of silly at that point. But this is going to be the one because it's got that line right there. I don't want to put too much because it, you know, black ink can show through the card, but this will give us a little something on the other side. So I've done both of those. That means I have one of these left. And I just got some black ink to go with the collection on my hands. So there's that. My other one has that further down, so I have things a little bit higher up. So I am going to show you, let's do these two to show you how to color them, and then I'll color the rest. So I have Shaded Spruce and Lost Lagoon for the leaves. I have Petal Pink and Timid Tiger for these flowers, and then for these I have the Blackberry Bliss and Berry Burst. And I'm going to use Wink of Stella. Let's see what color I ended with. I think green, yeah. So let's start with Shaded Spruce. And I'll do this little guy over here because there's not very much. So I did the leaves on these all in Shaded Spruce, but I did like color and then, or not color, but ink my Wink of Stella and then let it run almost all the way out. So there's lots of variations of the Shaded Spruce. So you've seen that. Now let me do my Shaded Spruce so I don't have to wash my brush again, but I'll fast forward that bit. Okay, so that's all the Shaded Spruce. Now I'm going to do the leaves on these in the Lost Lagoon. This Wink of Stella is getting close to being out. I was hoping I could make it through this card. And I did the same thing where I am going to load my Wink of Stella with ink and then kind of let it fade off so it has different variations of color. Okay, so that is that. Those are our greens. Now we'll go to the purple one since it's a little bit of a darker color. So I did all of the outsides The inside of the flower I did in Blackberry, and all the outside petals I did in Berry Burst. And I tried to put the color where the lines are. And then as it wears out, fill it back in a little bit. But I don't fill it all in because we are going to add in a third color on the one on the cover at least. You don't have to do it to all of them, but to just make your cover panel stand out and be beautiful. Now that I've got one coat, I'm going to go back in and make sure that some of those have a little bit of a deeper pink. When you do this, you have to be careful to resist the urge to color it all again. Otherwise, you're just right back where you started, and we're trying to get some variations of color. I'll do the other two. Okay, now I'm going to skip this flower and move to our petal pink, and it's because it's a good opportunity to clean your brush, because for these first few petals, if it has some petal pink on it, it doesn't matter. I'm going to add this kind of in, not all the white parts, but so we pull that peachy pink in there. And for this inside flower, I'm not taking a ton of time. I took a little bit more time, I think, when I made the other one because I'm tired and I love the color, and sometimes I get lost in it. Okay, now I'm going to do these, and my brush is starting to get dry. When your brush gets dry in a Wink of Stella and you feel like you're not moving ink, it's time to get a new Wink of Stella out. So I'm going to have to do that. So hang on just a second. Okay, I have another one sitting here. I'm going to see how it does. Much better. Your ink should move, and if it's not moving, then it gets moved. Your Wink of Stella gets moved over to the column. Put some tape or a piece of Sharpie on it so you know it's empty, and then it becomes a paintbrush. And they make fabulous paintbrushes. And then you can use them till the tip's not great and get rid of them. All right, and I'm going to do Timid Tiger, not on our purple flowers, just on these. And I'm going to do it first on these inside centers. And you can see I have some pretty strong ink. I put some refill in there so it would be a deeper orange. But in the centers, and then kind of there's little kind of outline wisps. I'm doing it on those as well. Okay, there's a little bit of ink left on this. I'm going to flip this over carefully. And as it comes off, it's going to be petal pinkish. Okay, a tad bit more there. I'll come back later and do those leaves. And then we have that little bit of color on the back. Now our final color is the Blackberry Bliss, and it's for the centers. And you can see on this one, I'm mostly just cleaning the brush off. I didn't do any kind of shading or anything. With this one, you kind of want to make sure you get down in there in between those petals. Start there. So there's that definition, and then move up to the top. And a little bit around the edges, and then fill the rest in. with a lighter version. Okay, so those are done. Now we just have to put this together, and it actually doesn't take very long at all to stick together. I would like for it to be dry, and I have got a little bit of an ink spot up there, so I'm going to have to put an embellishment there. It's not there on my other card, but that doesn't matter. So this is layered, so you can see each layer as it goes. So we're going to start here. And this goes centered because that will help us know where to put all of the others. Flip this over this way. Put your adhesive here. And then this gets layered back in between that one because it's the same size. You could do another size if you wanted to have that show. The reason I only did 3 sizes is because the other ones are all downstairs where they are being used to cut for a card club. So I didn't have them up here. And then this one goes here. So I'm going to take this ribbon. If you're in card club, you recognize it. It came with your Charming Day. I'm going to do something different on this one. So I've already cut it, and I'm going to unravel it now. So you can see how it pulls apart. I'll do this and fast forward me doing it. It just pulls apart like this. Okay, I've got the ends done now. I'm taking it, I'm kind of stretching it apart. It's going to make it be not quite so stiff. I didn't do this on my other card. It was one of the techniques that I think that was on a card, but you know, I have too many for a card club, and I was like, I'm not going to, it didn't fit on the 2 that I had left. Because one piece was too short and the other one's just a flat layered piece. So I had wanted to revisit it, and then I forgot until I got this card, and I was like, oh, I should have done the stretching thing. So it's just kind of relaxing it. You can see it's pulling it further and further apart. And it's longer than what I need it to be, so I'll be able to turn those crazy ends down when I get it on the card. So on this one, you don't want to put any adhesive on the back to hold this on, because if you do, it may stick to the card. So just tie it there. Well, it's not too long. And then you got to kind of hold all these wisps back together. And we'll flip those in there. Okay, we got them all, and pull it. So if you could feel this, it's a lot softer than when it's all bunched together. And pull that pretty tight. It is kind of long. You don't want it that long. And I think it does look better than the way I did it on my other one. The other one looks fine. This is just a little bit more wispy, and I like the wispiness of it. So now we want this to go here, but I also want this to stay on. So I'm going to kind of line that up, just kind of eyeball it. I'm going to put adhesive there, and then either side of it, so the ribbon doesn't slide off, I'm going to put these, and I'm doing it on the card. I'm not pressing hard on them until I make sure they're not showing. Because if you don't press hard and they're showing, you can move them. That looks good. Now you can press that on there. And then for my embellishments, these are from the holiday catalog, and they don't go with a sweet. So they're on the page with the gingerbread men. I don't know that, I mean, I guess they could be candies with the gingerbread. I don't know if they were just like extras, but it is why I went with Shaded Spruce and Blushing Bride. So, and on my other one, I don't have something right there. So if you get that up there, you can always spritz it with a blend. These are pretty delicate, these gold foil die cuts. So you have to be careful when you put your adhesive on them. You could use glue. But my theme of being in a hurry. The other one, I used a smaller one, and it kind of got lost. So I decided for this one, I was going to go with the bigger one. And the second one, oh yeah, that got some black on it too. I had just re-inked my Memento this morning. And when you have it on the dirty paper, that's part of the reason I changed to clean paper, but apparently that still has a lot of ink on there. So I will spritz this one. So let's grab a blend, and I'm going to do it in black. Because our card has a black base, I'm standing up to get my black blend. I may decide that I like it everywhere. Where'd my scrap paper go? I don't want black all over my table. See, it does that, and sometimes it just kind of transfers over to your paper. Oh, look, it's hidden. I'm just going to do a little bit on all the panels, and I am going to do this one. So the other one doesn't have it because I didn't make a mess. So I'll be able to show you the difference. Do I want any here? Might as well, since all the others have it. Don't want it to feel left out. If you get a fingerprint, if you have a glue smudge, a little bit of spritz can be a lifesaver. Okay, let's see. Don't want to use the red, although I thought about using red once I'd done this. Going back and adding some into the center of my flower so I could use red. But I liked the way this one turned out. So there's the two big ones. There's 3 sizes. Let's do one. I wanted them to kind of go up. That's why I really didn't want that to have to put them. You can't even tell where the smudge was. I think it's that one, but they all look the same. All it needs is for those leaves to be finished, because this part you want to see in the front of the card, but when your card's open, it was that. So on my other one, I thought I did a better job coloring this. I kind of like the spritz. Now it looks kind of empty. And the ribbon is, let's compare. Ribbon's definitely better, and it's way softer, just being opened like that. But I always had too heavy a touch when I film. So here's this one. See this one? Oh, and notice, I'm sure you did not notice that I took however long it took to stamp all the way across the bottom in black with flowers. You can see it on this panel, but I don't think it's worth the time. Now, if you want to do it in white, that would be beautiful, but you'd also have to be careful because the white will smear unless you emboss it. So there you go, petal arrangements. Stay tuned. Sometime in September, early October, I will get it with and use the whole thing as a background stamp as the second way it's intended to be used. Have a great one, guys. Bye.